What if I told you that the woman who built an entire television empire on deception, manipulation, and manufactured drama has just been exposed by a few text messages? That's right, settle in, because Chris Webber didn't just appear in court seeking justice. He came armed with undeniable evidence. He brought screenshots, voice recordings, and bank transfer records, all clearly implicating Jackie Christie with her name, voice, and unmistakable involvement. And these weren't simple "I miss you" messages. They were far more damaging messages like "hide the money, Doug can't find out," and even "tell Chantel she was in an accident." This is the level of deception we're talking about. In front of a packed courtroom, Chris Webber laid bare Jackie's secret life, fraudulent charities, undisclosed hotel meetings, and conversations suggesting Jackie may have concealed a second abortion from Doug while involved with Chris. The jury was stunned, Doug nearly collapsed, and Jackie sat silently, visibly shaken and exposed. But how did we end up here? How did Chris obtain these messages? And what other secrets might Jackie be hiding beneath her carefully constructed image? It runs much deeper than it first appears. Chris Webber's testimony didn't just make headlines, it completely unraveled the day's proceedings. What began as a routine hearing quickly spiraled into a full-blown media spectacle. As Chris presented the messages, the entire courtroom was left in shock. The severity of the content even caused the court reporter to momentarily pause in disbelief. Before we dive further, it's important to understand that this wasn't solely a legal matter. This confrontation was the culmination of years filled with deceit, infidelity, and conflicting loyalties, all unfolding under public scrutiny in front of a visibly shaken judge and a daughter caught in the crossfire. Chris entered that courtroom with nothing but a slim black folder. By the time he walked out, Jackie's public persona had been severely damaged. Doug was pleading with his attorney for relief, and Chantel reportedly left in tears, unwilling to speak to either parent. So, what exactly did those messages contain? Who sent them? And why did Chris choose this moment to make them public? Let's break it all down. Boss, part 1 incoming, a full one to a word deep dive begins now. 3 weeks ago, no one would have expected Chris Webber, normally calm, composed, and always behind the scenes, to be the one to ignite the courtroom. But on the morning of the hearing, as he entered carrying that slim black folder with a blank expression, even the security guard at the door seemed uneasy. Picture the scene. Jackie Christie sat in the front row, head held high, as though Doug wasn't moments away from confronting her with devastating truths. Jackie appeared pale, exhausted, and barely blinked. Chantel, who wasn't present, was reportedly advised by her therapist to avoid emotionally charged environments like this. This hearing wasn't just about Doug's sentencing. It was like karma had personally invited him to witness the truth that had been hidden for far too long. Then the moment began. The judge called Webber to the stand, and the atmosphere grew tense. Jackie shifted uncomfortably as Chris cleared his throat, placed the folder on the stand, and delivered the first blow. Doug watched intently as the camera started rolling. Chris began, speaking calmly. "It's just another Tuesday, Your Honor. I've stayed quiet for years, but since the world already knows part of the story, it's time they hear the rest." He then opened the folder, revealing printed text messages complete with notes, highlights, and timestamps. These weren't random messages. They were private exchanges between Jackie and Chris during a period she had once publicly described as confusing, though criminal might have been more accurate. The first message Chris read aloud was from Jackie, sent at 2:14 a.m. "Doug thinks I'm at my sister's. I miss how you look at me. Being with you makes me feel alive." At that moment, the entire room seemed to freeze. Doug's jaw dropped as if he had been struck by lightning. Jackie stared straight ahead without blinking, while the crowd reacted in stunned silence. Reporters frantically texted their editors, bloggers rushed to go live, and even the court stenographer glanced at the judge as if to ask, "Do I really have to type this?" But Chris wasn't finished yet. He turned to another message, this one from just 6 months ago. It read, "Sometimes I watch Chantel and think about what could have happened if we hadn't let fear control us. That picture from Maui is still with me." Doug looked at Jackie with a mix of anger, disbelief, and sadness. This wasn't just a mistake from years ago, it revealed a long pattern of dishonesty. Chris explained that there was much more to the story, while Jackie maintained the image of a loyal and loving wife. She was, in reality, playing both sides. Although Jackie had allegedly deleted some messages, many were recovered from his backup records. These messages not only confirmed that their emotional and possibly physical affair continued, but also suggested that Jackie may have used Doug's money and public standing to conceal her real motives. In court, Chris stated, "This woman lived two separate lives, one with Doug in public and another privately with me. When she asked me to keep quiet, I agreed. But after everything I've seen recently, I'm done." The judge attempted to restore order while Jackie whispered something to her lawyer. Doug remained frozen, pale and shaking, his hands clenched, staring at the floor as if hoping it would swallow him. Meanwhile, the public reaction was immediate. Social media erupted with #WeberActs trending worldwide within minutes. Fans quickly began posting old clips from basketball wives, highlighting Jackie's frequent absences, cryptic remarks, and late-night phone calls. Many seemed determined to uncover every detail, treating it almost like a full-time investigation. Then came a second leak, reportedly from someone connected to the case. This time, a message Chris had not read aloud surfaced. It read, "I've thought about leaving him more times than I can count. I only trust you with the truth. Don't make me regret telling you this." The reality was that Chantel may have long suspected something was wrong with her parents, while Jackie had urged Chris to stay out of legal trouble. Jackie wasn't ready to risk destroying everything, and now the legal team is attempting to recover a deleted video call from Jackie's old phone. Think that's the end? Not quite. Chris calmly wrapped up his testimony, neatly placing the documents back into his folder and taking his seat, as if he hadn't just exposed a collection of deeply hidden family secrets. Doug's attorney stood and requested a brief recess. Jackie appeared noticeably older, as if the events of the past 10 minutes had aged her by years. According to one witness, Jackie was heard softly saying he promised he'd never read those out loud. As the courtroom emptied, Chris showed no signs of regret. He acknowledged the media with a simple nod and stated, "Sometimes the truth hurts, and sometimes it heals. Either way, it's necessary." Meanwhile, Doug finally broke down in the courthouse hallway. Striking the wall with his hand, he shouted, "He betrayed me, my own brother," before storming past security into a private conference room. Reporters swarmed the building, and one from Shade Room attempted to gather more details about Doug and Chris's past relationship. Another source mentioned security footage from a Sacramento hotel in 2021, capturing Jackie and Chris in a heated argument. This situation had now escalated far beyond a scandal. It had become a media frenzy. The public wasn't just questioning what happened between Jackie and Chris. They were now speculating on how long Jackie had been hiding the truth, what Doug knew and when, and whether Chantel was even speaking to her parents. With the trial moving into its next phase, attention shifted to the upcoming witnesses. There was speculation that Doug might take the stand himself, and whatever he revealed could either protect him or permanently damage Jackie's remaining credibility. However, anyone who thought that courtroom moment was the peak of the drama was mistaken. Chris Webber wasn't holding on to just one piece of evidence, he had much more. After restoring order, the judge eventually ordered Doug to leave the courtroom, but Doug continued shouting, "You lied to me, Jackie." Meanwhile, Chris calmly adjusted his tie and returned his focus to the stand, unfazed. Then he pulled out his phone and, in a steady voice, said, "Your Honor, with the court's permission, I'd like to read a few text messages aloud." The gallery audibly reacted with gasps. Jackie's attorneys whispered among themselves as Chris Webber maintained his composure steady and deliberate. Then he began reading. Jackie's face turned pale and her hands trembled in her lap. The first message, dated July 8, 2016, read, "I want to tell Doug the truth, but he would never. Get over it. You're the only person who ever made me feel safe." The courtroom fell silent. Next, a message from August 12, 2017. "He's so busy coaching that he doesn't even notice when I sneak out. You always knew how to pay attention." One juror even whispered aloud, "Oh my God." Chris continued reading one message after another, spanning several years. The text revealed an ongoing pattern of deception and manipulation, exposing how Jackie had created an entirely separate life behind Doug's back. What made the situation even more damaging was that some messages showed premeditated planning rather than just emotional conversations. In one message, Jackie wrote, "If I bring Chantel, he won't ask questions, so we'll call it a charity trip. You're not just her biological father. You've always been there for her more than Doug has." At this point, Jackie buried her face in her hands. Reports indicated that Chantel, who had been waiting outside, was heard crying uncontrollably in the hallway. A court clerk even handed Jackie a box of tissues. Meanwhile, social media erupted. Within just 14 minutes, Jackie Christie was trending worldwide on Twitter, but it didn't stop there. Chris slowly scrolled through his phone and read the most damaging message yet. This one is from last year, March 18th. Jackie told me, "Doug is broke, and I'm tired of pretending. You and I built Chantel's future, not him. You should have been the one to walk the red carpets." The courtroom grew completely silent. It was as if Jackie's reputation shattered in real time. Even the judge appeared visibly shocked. A courtroom reporter tweeted, "I've covered 9 murder trials. Nothing compares to what I just witnessed." Then came the aftermath. Jackie didn't shout, deny, or defend herself. Instead, she softly whispered something that initially went unheard. However, online lip readers suggested she said he wasn't supposed to keep those. This statement confirmed that the messages were real. Chris wasn't fabricating anything. He simply wasn't supposed to have kept them. Chris Webber stepped down from the stand, walked past Jackie without acknowledging her, and exited through a side door escorted by bailiffs. Before leaving, paparazzi managed to capture a photo of him smirking in the courthouse hallway. Outside, the scene grew more intense. Protesters held signs reading "Justice for Doug" and displayed diagrams illustrating the layers of deceit. Chantel, now unwillingly thrust into the center of the controversy, posted a plain black square on Instagram without any caption, leading many to believe she had cut ties with her mother entirely. The situation escalated further when Jackie's attorney attempted to block the messages from being used as evidence. However, the judge swiftly rejected the motion, stating, "This court has a duty to the truth. If these messages are authentic, the consequences extend far beyond simple family issues." The matter now involved possible charges of fraud, perjury, and identity manipulation. Legal analysts noted that Jackie might have broken the law by withholding information from Doug regarding her LLCs during property filings. These same LLCs were already under investigation for charity fraud. The complications didn't stop there. Doug Christie was being held and faced up to 5 years in prison on charges of aggravated assault. Meanwhile, Chris Webber had presented the court with a detailed digital record of an emotional affair that spanned Chantel's entire life. Jackie was also caught lying under oath. Now, state prosecutors had begun reviewing the financial records of Jackie's nonprofit organization. In 2020, the foundation received over $1,200,000 in donations, but only reported spending $18,000 on community programs. The question now was, where did the remaining funds go? Adding another twist, Doug's former assistant stepped forward, revealing that he had once delivered a manila envelope directly to Chris Webber at Jackie's instruction. "She told me to deliver it to Chris and not to tell Doug. I didn't know what was inside, and I didn't ask questions. But now, I believe I may have unknowingly helped hide something serious." Investigators are now reviewing CCTV footage from Jackie's residence, emails from her PR team, and financial documents from the Christie family's LLCs. Subpoenas for both Jackie's and Doug's business associates are reportedly being prepared. The public, however, remains divided. Doug's supporters believe he should be released, viewing him as the true victim in this situation. Meanwhile, Jackie's supporters have stayed unusually quiet, and Chris Webber recently posted a black and white selfie with the caption, "Truth, Legacy, the situation isn't over yet." Part 3 is about to bring even more significant developments. Just when it seemed the courtroom drama couldn't escalate any further, another revelation emerged, this time striking emotionally, psychologically, and potentially ending careers. Chris Webber, who had previously been physically confronted by Doug, sat quietly in the witness chair. The tension was heavy. Jackie stared at him as though facing a ghost from her past. Doug, in shackles, sat beside his attorneys, his eyes red, his anger barely contained a T that moment. The bailiff handed the judge a sealed envelope from Chris Webber's attorney. Inside were 32 pages of text messages exchanged between Jackie and Chris over several years. These included late-night messages, secret vacation arrangements, and one particularly telling text that read, "Doug will never know. He trusts me too much." The judge blinked in disbelief. The courtroom collectively gasped, and Jackie's expression revealed her distress. The prosecution moved to admit the texts as evidence of motive and emotional manipulation. The defense remained silent, unable to offer any rebuttal. Next, the court listened to a voicemail Jackie left during one of Doug's coaching trips abroad. Her voice was intimate as she said, "I still think about us, Chris. That weekend in Malibu wasn't a mistake. I didn't expect to still love you." Jackie buried her face in her hands. Chantel stormed out of the courtroom visibly upset, while Doug sat motionless, staring at the floor, his jaw clenched tightly. Chris then rose as the court tried to regain order. "I didn't come here to destroy lives," he said, "but I can't." Remained silent. "Jackie and I weren't just having fun. She concealed our relationship from me, which I accepted back then. But with Doug now facing prison because of these secrets, I had to reveal the truth." Almost instantly, justice for Doug began trending on social media and the internet exploded. TikTok was flooded with fan theories, reaction videos, and slowed down courtroom footage set to dramatic music. One TikToker recreated the entire courtroom, seen in under 30 minutes, while another started selling shirts that read, "Jackie's lies aren't rebound material." By the end of the day, VH1 released a public statement announcing that they were reassessing Jackie Christie's role in future Basketball Wives productions. The consequences continued to spread throughout the courtroom. Doug's attorney argued that years of betrayal had left him emotionally and mentally unstable, framing his outburst as a temporary lapse in judgment. In response, Chris Weber's legal team presented photographs showing Jackie arranging secret meetings as recently as the previous year while filming season 12. This raised questions about whether the producers were aware, and if they were, potential lawsuits could follow. Meanwhile, Jackie's attorney was working to protect her reputation and prepare for possible perjury charges, since she had previously testified that she had no physical or emotional involvement with Chris Webber after 2003. Unfortunately for her, that claim was already in serious doubt. Then, just as the court was about to adjourn, an unexpected development occurred. A mysterious envelope was slid under the judge's chamber door. Inside was a flash drive with bold red letters that read, "Play this or you're part of the cover-up." Sources claim it contains home surveillance footage from Doug and Jackie's mansion, allegedly capturing Chris Webber entering the property at 4:14 a.m. last year while Jackie was home and Doug was away. Jackie had even posted an Instagram caption stating, "Some people you never really unlove." Though that post has since been deleted. At this point, the situation escalated significantly. Multiple insiders suggest Jackie could face federal obstruction charges if it's proven she tampered with evidence or withheld crucial documents. Regarding the LLCs already under investigation for charity fraud, it turns out Jackie and Doug allegedly signed them using fake addresses tied to short-term rental properties in Beverly Hills. This courtroom drama has now expanded into investigations across several states. The IRS, FBI, and California Attorney General's office are reportedly reviewing past tax filings and public donation records tied to the couple. As for Doug, he remains in custody, still facing assault charges. However, his legal team is now exploring a new defense strategy that shifts full responsibility onto Jackie, citing emotional manipulation, financial fraud, and betrayal. Whether this approach will succeed remains uncertain. What is clear, though, is that Doug Christie is no longer the composed former athlete the public once knew. He is now a man on trial, devastated by the actions of the woman he trusted. Jackie Christie, once the master of controlling narratives on reality TV, now finds herself in a situation beyond her control. Chris Webber exited the courtroom battered but vindicated, and rumors suggest he's already in discussions with Netflix for a potential series titled Exposed: The Truth About Jackie Christie. But this story is far from over. Chantel is scheduled to testify next week, and according to leaked witness lists, she isn't appearing to defend her mother. Instead, she's ready to share her own perspective. Prepare yourself, the trial that's captured everyone's attention is only just beginning. This isn't a Basketball Wives reunion, it's the unraveling of Jackie Christie's public image and influence. Now, we turn to you. Was Doug Christie's anger and pride responsible for the chaos he once shielded Jackie from? Or is he a longtime victim of manipulation and betrayal? Was Chris Webber courageous for coming forward, or is he simply capitalizing on the situation with a possible Netflix deal? And Jackie, has she been orchestrating this all along and finally lost control? Or is she just someone trying to hide her personal mistakes? What's clear is that this courtroom saga has shifted the landscape of reality television. It's no longer just VH1 paying attention. Now federal agencies, the IRS, and major media outlets are watching closely. This has evolved from a reality TV scandal into the dismantling of an entire empire. But stay tuned, because next week Chantel takes the stand, and sources say she's coming with evidence, emotional baggage, and nothing to hold back. If you thought today's revelations were intense, wait until her testimony. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. The truth is unfolding rapidly, and we're bringing you every update as it happens. If you believe karma is finally catching up to the Christies, hit that like button and share your boldest theories in the comments. Who's testifying next? What's really on that flash drive? And just how deep does this scandal go? Here, we don't stay silent. We investigate, we challenge, and we deliver the facts. And this is only the beginning. The courtroom isn't finished, the secrets aren't fully revealed, and we're not going anywhere. See you in the next major update.